What's up? How you doing? Here we are. Beautiful day today. Beautiful morning. Blue sky. Perfect humidity. Very nice out. Shaving time. Shaving time. So I have a mirror right here, off camera, but it's right there. So this is by Parker, and they've been around, I think, 1973. Very, very nice. Very nice. Good quality. Look at that. Very good quality. And razor blade. Clean the blade with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. Look good. Little sanitary situation there. Sanitize it. Let it dry for a minute. And so basically I have hot water. I have the container that I mix the soap in for the lather, stainless steel. And I actually have, I don't know why we say actually, I really have Trufford & Hill soap here, shaving cream. Right there. See how that works? This is my favorite shaving company. There's a lot of good ones out there, but this is my favorite. Trufford & Hill. Since 1805. The smell is refreshing. Very nice. Very nice. So we're going to start the process. Get a good amount on there. If you need more, you do it again. I watch these guys from, I don't know if it looks like Afghanistan, and straight edge. Dude looks like he's about 70, 72, and he's got a cup. I don't know, from Dunkin' Donuts or something, but he mixes it up nice lather. And then he shaves people's heads, beards, you name it. Somebody's buzzing. Okay, we're fine. But he does a good job. He sharpens it. Gets it nice and sharp. He has one of those, he's got a sharpening stone and a piece of like a 2x4, and he goes back and forth, and then he hones it on his palm, like leather, right? All right. It's like I can smell the beaver. it doesn't matter. I'm gonna wash the shirt, so. Good enough. Good enough. Get the blade. I have some hot water here. There used to be a place in Vegas I would go to all the time, the Art of Shaving, or the Art of the Shave, and no longer there. There's nothing better than, you know, when you go hiking and you do an overnighter and you wake up in the morning, you heat up the water, and you do a nice shave out in the forest. Nothing beats that. You feel rejuvenated. Something about whiskers, it drains your power eventually. When you look in the mirror, you look haggard, beat up. You may look that way anyway, but shaving gives you kind of like an energized feeling for a few moments at least. Now, I will shave with the grain, but eventually I go against it. I do both. And I clean the blade often. You know, some people, they do half the face and they rinse. I don't do it that way. And I don't keep my blade for years either. You know, 2-3 shaves out the window. And it probably could cut more than that, but and I will say that for my money, Gillette, really good quality. A couple of years ago, I went on a trip and I forgot my blades. And there was nothing close by that had blades, and they did not have Gillette. So I went to the hotel. It was a really nice hotel, marble, all that good stuff. I went there and I said, is there a place around here I can get some blades, shaving? And the lady, she goes and she ducks down and opens up a drawer and hands me a complimentary shaving kit from the hotel. And I looked at it and I go, I don't know, that does not look sharp. You know, I think it was like a single blade or something. I went upstairs and I shaved, and it was kind of dull. It was brand new. It wasn't like she gave me hers from her legs, but it just was dull, and it ended up cutting me a few places, and did not appreciate it. But Gillette has it down. Now I like the straight edge, but today I'm doing the Gillette shave. Like I said, I go with the grain sometimes, but then I get back there and I do the against the grain. And I use hot water. I know some people use cold. Your preference. whatever you like. I had a friend years ago. Still have this friend. He's still around. We're still friends. And every time I saw him after he shaved, he always had hair left over, like right around here and the sides, sometimes around here. He would miss stuff. Like he got 95% of stuff, but 5% of the stuff would hang, you know, on the sides there. And I never understood why. I go, what's going on with this guy? He can't get the whole thing. So one day I was over his house. And we were gonna, you know, head out. And he goes, oh, hold on. He goes, let me shave real quick. So he pulls out an Arelco, which I'm not really a fan of electric shaving. I mean, it's fine, but I'm not a fan of it. And he starts to shave it, you know, he starts doing the, you know, the whole thing without a mirror. And I said to him, that explains it. I go, that, he goes, what? I go, that explains why you miss 5% of your whiskers. You don't notice that? I go, when you go by a mirror and you have stuff hanging here that looks like you haven't shaved for a couple of weeks. So, I don't know. But that's how he was for years and years. And then after I made that comment, he became a good shaver. Now he gets everything. I don't know. Now we feel around. Anything feels rough, we will take it down. But you feel that feeling of, you know, like refreshing feeling. That's what you feel. You probably feel more of that if you shave your whole head and face. Like Foreman. Foreman would do the whole body. He had a condition, he said, that he had this, like hair made him feel disgusting. So he would shave everything from top all the way to his toes. Now, I don't know what it's called, but yeah, so pretty a little gotcha there, but pretty good. Now, aftershave, very important. Aftershave. So, most of my life, I never used aftershave. I would shave, and you know, I wouldn't use it. My father, you know, he was a skin bracer guy by men, and he'd pour boom, boom, and then he'd slap it on. And I was like, I don't understand why. So I never used it. But for the last, I don't know, I don't want to say 15 years, but close, I've been using aftershave. So I got all different kinds. Currently I'm using Lumber Prince aftershave. It's not bad. Take a look. Now, normally what I do is I rinse, but you know, I'm not near a sink right now, and that water has foam in it. So, you know, this is just for demonstration purposes. I will go and rinse and do it again, but this one's brand new. Gotta take the top up. That is refreshing. That smells good. That smells good. A little bit more. Too much is never enough. It's like olive oil. You can never eat too much olive oil. Well, maybe you can at some point, but I haven't reached that point yet. So it gives you a nice, refreshing feeling. Classic Splash. Yep. So that's it. Everything is nice and you can't feel anything. When I shave, I think of the show Bosom Buddies, and it annoys me that they did not give credit to Billy Joel for the theme song. They did a cover version of it, but Billy Joel wrote My Life, and nowhere in the credits does it say My Life written by Billy Joel. I don't know how they missed that, but it doesn't give him credit. And so what I think about when I shave is, how did that, what were they were named, I forget their names now, but no matter how close you shave, and I'm, whatever, but if I look in the mirror, I can tell that there's, hair under there. You can tell. So if you had these two dudes that look like dudes, dressed in women's clothing, and it's a woman's only place, I don't know how they got away with it. First of all, the hands, they look manly. The Adam's apple, the throat looks manly. The shaving stuff, you can't hide that, and the voice, their voices, I don't know, it never fooled. I didn't say, oh, those are women. Tom Hanks does not make a believable woman. The other guy, maybe a little bit. He was a little bit more petite. But yeah, and then they would show up like as themselves, and nobody said, I think those two guys just come here dressed up as women. No, they were like cousins or brothers and whatever, they were siblings, something. But they accepted them, and I just found that weird. Nobody knew, no female in there could spot that was a man dressed in a wig. I don't know. So yeah, I used to watch that show, but it was a little bit asinine, the concept. I actually ran into Tom Hanks. I didn't meet him like, hey, my name is Nick, and he said, my name's Tom. No, not like that, but I was right by him, and he was at a place where he gave a little speech, and I was there to hear it. I remember exactly what he said. But yeah, I like him, decent. For his movies, I don't know personally, how, but his movies, and I really enjoy watching Castaway. That's my dream. My dream is to get stranded on an uninhabited island with nice weather. It could be Antarctica, but what are you going to eat there, right? But a tropical island, plenty of stuff. I mean, he ate coconuts and shrimp. So yeah, that's always been my dream, to go somehow to an uninhabited island and spend, I don't want to spend 15 years there and come back 80 pounds with blonde hair, but I'd like to go for a couple of weeks, maybe get dropped off by somebody who has a yacht or a big boat, and then get picked up. I had planned at one time. I was looking at these tankers, the container ships, and I saw they had a website that would show you where their route is in the ocean. And I said, you know what, I'm going to find one of these that goes near an uninhabited island, and I'm going to bring in an inflatable boat. And when we get there, I was going to talk to the captain or somebody and say, hey, can I, come along? And then once we got in the vicinity, a mile or two away from the island, I would throw my boat off the side and then jump in after it and then, row. But the problem is on the way back, it doesn't have like a sign that says this is where the shipping lane is. So you don't know. You could be 500 yards away, you could be a mile away, you don't know. And how do you time the date? How do you know when another one's going to go by? You can't just hang around there and starve to death. So for that reason, I never attempted it. But when I was younger, I did think about doing that, you know. And my parents would have been like, where'd he go? He's been gone for like a month. You know, oh, maybe I would bring a satellite phone. But back then, I don't think I could afford a satellite phone. Now they've gone down in price. But yeah, satellite phones are great. Anywhere on the planet, outside obviously, not in a cave. You get one of those, you can contact anybody. So I would get one of those and go. But I always, and still to this day, I would love to end up on an uninhabited island. I have dreams where I'm ending up in these places. So obviously, you know, I want to go. But the return is dangerous. You got to trust somebody who drops you off. You know, they may drop you off, they don't really like you, and they are just not going to go back for them. And they leave you there, and then you can't get off. So, you know, and bringing your own boat is like cheating. I think, you know, you want to do it in a way that seems to be an accident. You know, I have this dream where I'm floating in the ocean. It's dark out. There's a little moon up there, but it's dark. And somehow I've been in the water for hours and hours, and all of a sudden I feel my body go up against sand, and I look, and there's this massive mountain, pointy, sticking out of the ocean floor. And I washed up on the shore, and there's about 15 feet or so of sand, and then you hit the island where it just abruptly sticks out of the ocean floor. And as I'm looking, the ocean, it's like coming in high tide or something, and all of a sudden the sand disappears. I'm up to my ankles in water, and then to my knees, so I have to start climbing all around, and, you know, getting to the top of the island in order not to, you know, get wet. So at some point the water stops, and then it looks like a normal island. You know, it looks like a regular island. It doesn't look like a mountaintop anymore. And so I end up all the way to the top, and there's a house. Looks like I'm in the Hamptons or something. And they're throwing a party. I can hear people like talking, and, you know, I can smell barbecue and all that. But I'm not, you know, I'm not gonna go. I'm just hanging back and, you know, saying, who are these people? It's uninhabited. There's no one else around, but it's a nice house. House looks like a house out of the Hamptons. Big, rich looking, and there's a big patio outside. And then they're out there. I can see people, and they're barbecuing and everything. And, you know, I don't want to get involved. I don't know if they're friendly or not. You never know. They look friendly, but just because you wear your sweater with the sleeves tied in front here doesn't mean you're friendly. Never confuse that. So anyway, I'm all shaved, and I'm good to go. That's it for now. Ciao.